I'm Lucy, this is James. We are part of the Australian delegation here in Malta. We're walking around town.
We're in a seaside village in Malta.
Yes.
Where?
It's quite beautiful. We went to the walled city of Medina already. We've been to Valletta. We've seen the cliffs, and now we're walking around town.
Yeah, we've got a big church just here, and the bells are going.
You can hear them in the background.
Yeah.
Oh, they're quite loud, actually.
Yeah.
We're both here at Delta Summit. What's your favourite part of the Delta Summit?
So I think it was good to meet lots of new people here in Malta.
Yeah, great.
We got to see lots of people from all over the world, especially Europe, but also some of the Asian countries who a lot of the exchanges are actually coming over here and starting to set up because it's a lot...
of the favourable regulations that Malta has now imposed for blockchain companies.
Exactly. It makes it easier for them to operate an exchange without, breaking the law, which is good for them.
Very good.
So, yeah, lots of very interesting people.
We both got to meet CZ from Binance.
Yes.
To take selfies with him.
Yeah.
That was quite exciting.
Everyone was taking selfies. It was
he was a bit of a rock star.
It was my entire LinkedIn feed was actually just CZ and some other person that I didn't know. So
Roger Ver was here. We also had Tim Draper.
It wasn't as controversial with Roger Ver as it has been in other conferences. It wasn't the crypto cruise all over again.
No, he was shilling Bitcoin Cash for sure.
Yeah, that's his job though. What was your favourite bit?
I think the networking aspect was quite good. As you say, met lots of really interesting people from all over the world. Got to hang out with the Australian delegation. We also met the Australian High Commissioner. She was very nice to come out and hang out with us. Being in Malta itself has been quite a good experience. The Maltese people are really nice. And at the same time, there's a lot of people moving here. So I wanted to see what that was looking like as well.
Yeah.
And the conference itself I thought was fairly well run. Lots of really high quality people. I've been to quite of conferences before, especially New York Blockchain Week was 8,500 people.
Yeah.
But with this
one was still pretty big. This was 4,000 people.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think high quality people are coming to the first
one in Malta.
Official event in Malta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty hectic though. Like at times, the lines were pretty long.
The lines were long. There wasn't enough seats to see some of the conferences. Like we had to stand for CZ. Roger Ver, like all the big ones.
I think that part of that is that it was actually a lot more popular than they thought it was going to be.
Correct, yeah.
It was huge, absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
They were like they sold out, and then they kept on getting more requests for more people to be, signing up. So it was quite good and quite big.
Yeah. Lots of investors, VCs were here. All the big exchanges were here.
Exchanges.
All of them. So it was great. It's a great networking event. Highly recommend it being the first in Malta. Like I said, Malta's become blockchain island, so all the eyes have been on Malta and will continue to be on Malta. They've got another big event in a couple of weeks' time as well. And probably have a huge turnout, even bigger turnout than this one.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're trying to get all aspects of the government involved. I think it's kind of working. It's working quite well in some ways for them. Definitely a lot of attention has been put on the Maltese government and its acceptance of crypto.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit cynical. Like, I think that government regulation in this space is good for some things, but not good for others. So I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all regulatory environment. It's not a free-for-all. I think that the European representatives and the Maltese representatives have made it very clear that it's not a free-for-all, which means that certain types of projects definitely would be limited in their ability to be regulated under the Maltese system. So despite that, it's a good place to hang out if you are in crypto, even if you're not part of this regulatory framework. Yeah.
Anything that you haven't really liked as much?
I think it was all pretty good. I think, though, that people are a little bit excessively optimistic about government regulation. So government regulation is good because it means that companies can be confident in their ability to set up shop and not, get into trouble for doing the wrong thing. But ultimately, it's always going to be a regulatory set that falls within the bounds of what the government of the time thinks is acceptable. So it's not a free-for-all. Not every single project can set up in this space, which means that, if you've got a project and you think that it won't be regulated in one region, it's not necessarily going to work here either, which is, kind of to be expected. But I think people are trying to make it sound like Malta will be able to do everything, and they won't be able to do everything. That said, despite the fact that you might not be able to set up here, you might also just benefit from the fact that you've got so many companies here who are, all working in the crypto space. So you might have an office set up here, but maybe not your company registered here, so that you can get access to the other companies who are taking advantage of, all the stuff that's happening in the space.
There's definitely a lot of companies that are looking to set up here, and certainly being here in the last week, I have met quite a number of companies who've come here to set themselves up, and also has been talking to a lot of companies who had already set themselves up. So it's going to be quite an interesting space. Additionally, we also met the Australian High Commissioner, and she's been telling us quite a lot of interesting things, including the increase of Australian companies looking to move here, and especially blockchain companies as well.
Yeah, I think that there are a lot of companies, not only from Europe. Malta's very close to many European countries, but also a lot of the Asian exchanges have come over. So, they're very active in this space. So being Australians in this, this event has been very good for us. A lot of people have already met each other before, but we're fresh blood, so we're actually more interesting to some people in some ways at the moment. But as time goes on, maybe that'll change.
Yeah, and we all know that crypto and blockchain is a very global industry. So 100%, very, very glad to have come. I think it's definitely a worthwhile event.
Yep.
I felt like I've learnt a lot, and I've achieved a lot. I've met a lot of really interesting people, and to come here to a place where it is leading regulatory reforms in the world, and to hear it firsthand, to meet the ministers, to meet the government officials who are running all this, has been really, really interesting and definitely a great experience. Yeah. Okay, so that's it from us from Malta in this lovely fishing village at UC. And again, this is Lucy and James, and we'll speak to you again next time.